Chapter 478, Archenemies arrived. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Blackie also felt the incoming murderous feeling. He got up, looked at Archenemies and said, "Our arch-rivals are going to arrive." "Troublemaker, you should leave." "Who are you calling troublemaker, fat cat?" Archenemies glared at Blackie. Blackie rolled his eyes as if to say, "If it's not you, who else then?" Archenemies gritted her teeth. If she had not also felt the incoming masters, she might have beaten the wretched animal. Archenemies walked towards Zhang Yuochen. She drew out her blue water dragon patterned sword. With a bit of remorse, she said, "Perhaps it is because of me that these people have come to the primitive world of wood spirit. I'm sorry." "You think that they wouldn't be chasing us if you hadn't spread the news?" Zhang Yuochen asked. As the pinnacle of the latest generation, Zhang Yuochen's every move was under the surveillance of every major force. Even if Archenemies hadn't spread the news, those who had strong animosity towards him would surely know his whereabouts in a short time. Archenemies said, "This has something to do with me. I will help you." Zhang Yuochen could not persuade her to leave anymore. The masters were getting nearer and had begun to surround them. It would not be easy to flee. Blackie was on the ground. Its claws were scratching rapidly. Every time Blackie slashed the ground, an inscription of array would be imprinted. The traces of the inscriptions crisscrossed and overlapped each other. Soon, it was a 12-meter-long circular battle formation. Archenemies was astonished. She had not expected the fat cat could make an array. And, its speed of drawing the inscriptions was absolutely mind-blowing. Zhang Yuochen is indeed not a common person, even his pet cat is superb. The array it inscribed is full of complexity and depth. Is it a fourth-class array? Archenemies' mood was very complicated. It was unbelievable. No matter how strong you were, there was always somebody stronger. Array masters had elite status in Kunlun's field. Especially array masters who could form a grand array, they were regarded very highly. Even equal to half-saints and saints. If a warrior could be assisted by a powerful array, his strength would be doubled, perhaps more. The Saint Academy had an array department, too. However, there were only a few freshmen that could inscribe a fourth-class array. If the cat could create a fourth-class array, wasn't it better than the geniuses in the Saint Academy? Blackie looked at the finished inscription. He shook his head and sighed. "Too bad, I can only create the fourth-class array, Wild Wind and Broken Cloud array. If my strength was slightly higher, there is a decent chance I could do a fifth-class array." It took out a few spiritual crystals. It carefully buried them into the ground, then used the inscriptions to combine the spiritual crystals with the array. The spiritual crystals provided energy for the operation of the array. Two beaming shadows appeared, flying at an intense speed under the moon. They landed on the hillside. The two shadows stopped. The outline of a man and a woman could be seen. The man was tall and handsome with nice eyes. The woman was tall and glamorous, a beauty like the moon. They were Zuo Kuling, from St. Zuo Gentry, and Zai Yongxi, from St. Zai Gentry. Zai Yongxi exposed 2 rows of perfect white teeth. She looked at Zhang Yuochen in the distance, and said with a smile, "You knew we were catching up, why aren't you trying to escape?" Zhang Yuochen answered, "You are saints from the Sword Technique Department's first group, and I am the group leader of the first group. I have no reason to escape from you." Zuo Kuling and Zai Yongxi looked at each other. They burst into laughter. Zuo Kuling wiped the smile from his face. A look of animosity appeared. He said, "Zhang Yuochen, you think the Saint Academy rules apply here? A village boy from Omen Ridge wants to be our group leader. You think too highly of yourself." Archenemies stepped forward and asked, "Zuo Kuling, Zai Yongxi, why are you chasing us?" Zai Yongxi looked at Archenemies, as if she was an idiot. "We're here to kill Zhang Yuochen, of course. Why else would we be here?" "Thank you for your treachery of Zhang Yuochen's whereabouts. Without it, we would not have arrived so fast." Archenemies' expression changed slightly. "But we are all saints from the Saint Academy. How can we kill each other?" "Aren't you afraid of being punished by the Saint Academy?" "As long as Zhang Yuochen vanishes in the primitive world of wood spirit, Who will ever know? You know too much. You will accompany him to hell. Let's kill her first and deal with Zhang Yuochen afterwards. Simultaneously, Zai Yunxi and Zuo Qing cast bodily movements and rushed towards her. Pow! Alxinian swung his sword, executing an arc of sword chi. The palm power and sword chi collided. Zai Yunxi and Zuo Qing were forced back and returned to their original location. Their palms had been cut by the sword chi, leaving a long bloody gash. You are too weak to fight with me. How can you possibly defeat the group leader? Alxinian questioned them. You think so? Zai Yunxi smirked. Swoosh. 18 shadows jumped out from the bushes. Every of them had the cultivation of the completion of Heaven Realm. They surrounded Zhang Yuochen, Blackie and Alxinian. The 18 people had been carefully selected by the powerful Scent families. They were all masters. Although they were not warriors on the Heaven board, they were just as powerful. Even Alxinian, who was overconfident, was not convinced she would be able to resist the siege of 18 warriors at the completion of the Heaven Realm. Zai Yunxi ran her genuine chi to flow in her palm and her injury soon recovered. She said, no matter how strong you are, there is no way that you can resist the combined strike of 18 warriors at the completion of the Heaven Realm. Alxinian retreated 2 steps into the wild wind and broken cloud array. She stood next to Zhang Yuochen and whispered, we will join hands and find our way out. Zhang Yuochen shook his head gently. Focusing in the other direction, he said, since you are already here, Page, just show yourself. Tap, tap. Page walked slowly out from the bush. Zhang Yuochen, I wonder, why don't you stay in the Saint Academy? Instead you decide to come to the primitive world of Wood Spirit. Don't you know that death is inevitable here? Of course I have reasons to come here, Zhang Yuochen replied. Besides, I don't think it's rational to keep hiding in the Saint Academy for the rest of my life. One has to go out and experience life beyond the walls. Alxinian was not as relaxed as Zhang Yuochen when she saw Page. Her face grew pale. With Zhang Yuochen's help, escaping from the 18 masters of the completion of Heaven Realm was still a possible outcome. However, Page's appearance was like a grim reaper, crushing their chance of survival. He was the 41st warrior on the Heaven board, the Bloody Butcher. His fame and the rank revealed the ruthless battles Page had endured. It proved just how strong he was. Warriors who were below the class of Fish Dragon Realm would certainly be bothered if they encountered Page. Alxinian clenched her lips. It's because I leaked your track that they are here. Just go, group leader. I'll handle them. She exuded her genuine chi into the blue water dragon patterned sword, triggering the holy sword's inscription. She rushed forward. From sky to earth, it was an inferior class ghost level sword technique, the sky sword technique. Affected by the sword chi, the heaven and earth spiritual chi turned into a wave. Alongside with her combat sword, it struck towards Page. How overconfident you are. Page shook his head. His genuine chi spilled out from his chi sea, flowing to his right arm and rushing out of his paws. It formed a circular flame. Flame beast power. As Page let out his palms, a savage beast's roar could be heard from his arms. It was as if there was a behemoth sealed in his arms. Letting out his force, the palm power turned into an illusory image of a flame beast. Like a fire hurricane, it struck towards Alxinian. Pow! Alxinian's sword chi condensed in thin air. It was destroyed by the flame beast's illusory image. Alxinian then exuded her genuine chi into the glazed spinel on her wrist. It emitted a few lines of inscription and formed a light screen, shielding her entire body. The illusory image of the flame beast collided into the light screen, pushing her back 33 meters. Horrified, Alxinian realized that Page was overpowering. If she had not triggered her amulet treasure's protective power in time, she would have been heavily wounded. Is this the power of the 41st Master on the Heaven board? Page's strength not only took Alxinian off guard, it also amazed Zhang Yuochen. Page immediately took his palm back and turned around as if everything was under his control. He said, fleeing is no longer an option. Zhang Yuochen, hand over the Dragon Pearl. At least I can provide you a mercy killing. Based on Page's cultivation, it was unnecessary to take orders from Xu Hai. The reason he had been so eager to rush to the primitive world of Wood Spirit to challenge Zhang Yuochen was the Dragon Pearl. Acquiring the Dragon Pearl would not only increase his strength, It would also make it easy to become one of the top 10 masters of the Heaven Board. Of course, breaking through to the Fish Dragon realm would also become much easier. You want the Dragon Pearl, too? Zhang Yuochen said, smiling. Zhuo Qing stood behind Paige and spoke coldly. Zhang Yuochen, if you knew what was going to happen, you would quickly hand over the Dragon Pearl. The Dragon Pearl is with me. If you want it, earn it. Zhang Yuochen said. Zhuo Qing smiled and said, okay, I'll show you my real strength.